guys, Eli here, back for another CD collection video. Same old series where I take 10 CDs off my shelf, alphabetical order, kind of show them, maybe talk a little about them, just kind of my way of hanging out with you guys. So pretty much all black and death metal here today, so yeah, let's check it out. Now to kick this off, we're gonna be going back to Incantation, who we were talking about in the last video. Obviously, everyone knows Incantation. Everyone loves them. I absolutely love them. One of the best death metal bands ever come out of the U.S. or anywhere. They formed in 1989 in New Jersey, here in the U.S. Maybe starting off with 2006's Primordial Domination. This is their 8th full-length album. Came out on Listenable Records. I think this is the first album to come out on Listenable. I might be wrong about that. What I have here is the version that has a live DVD. I think this was recorded in France, which makes sense because Listenable Records is a French label. So, yeah, this is just another really, really, really good Incantation album. And noteworthy for it being the last album to feature Joe Lombard on bass. He would pass away shortly after the recording here, or at some point. Might have been within a year later or something, but he did pass away after this album, and he would not. That'd be the last thing that he would ever do. This is their 9th album, Vanquish In Vengeance. Still signed to Listenable Records at this point. I have the deluxe edition box set, or whatever it might be called. Really nice. So this album would be noteworthy for having Alex Books on guitar for the first time of Agoraphobia, and Chuck Sherwood on bass from Bloodstorm and Namtaru. Chuck Sherwood is actually still in the band to this day. Alex has moved on to Immolation. So yeah, slipcase. So this came with a flag, which I can't show because I do use. It's a cool flag. It has the cover art without the writing, and also came with a patch, which I'm also using. And I guess now would be as good of a time as ever to ask you guys, when you guys get a box set, do you use the stuff that it comes with? Posters, flags, patches, stuff like that, stickers, or do you just keep them in the box? For me, I cannot wrap my head around just leaving it in the box. I feel like that stuff is all, it's for me to enjoy. How can you enjoy it when it just sits in a box and you look at it once every 5 years? So if there's a patch that comes with a box set, you can bet your ass I'm going to use that. If there's a poster or a flag, I'm going to hang it up. I mean, this is just my opinion. I think it's a complete waste to leave it in the box forever, unless you're doing it for monetary reasons. You're trying to hold off on seeing if it goes up in value so you can price gouge it someday, which I think is bullshit anyways. I cannot enjoy it just sitting in a box collecting dust. But anyways, Vanquish In Vengeance. This might be my favorite post 2000 Incantation album. Hard to say, but I really, really enjoy this one. The only live album I have from them, Rotting Spiritual Entombment from 2017. This came on Necroharmonic Productions, and maybe a joint release with Deathgasm and Ibex Moon, I would assume. But I got this from Necroharmonic. The label owner is longtime friend of the band, so he puts out some cool shit. Recorded in 1991 at Club Babyhead in Providence, Rhode Island. So this would still, the lineup on this, would still be what would be considered the classic lineup. John McEntee on guitars, Ronnie Dio on bass, who Ronnie passed away earlier this year, so R.I.P. Ronnie. Jim Rowe on drums, and Craig Pollard on guitar and vocals. I have enjoyed all the lineups of Incantation, but a lot of people will say this is the classic lineup and this was the best it ever was. I can't really argue with that, no matter how hard I might try. Then I have from that same year, 2017, we got Profane Nexus. This would be the band's return to Relapse Records. They were signed to Relapse earlier on in their career. They Relapse put out a little bit of their stuff before they would leave the label, and almost 30 years later, I guess they came back full circle. This is their 11th album and fantastic. I think modern Incantation is just as good as the early stuff. It's at least an 8 out of 10. I've always said Incantation. The weakest Incantation album for me is probably an 8 out of 10. This is probably an 8.5. Fantastic. And their newest album from 2020, Sect of Vile Divinities. Another fantastic album. When I did my 2020 end of year list, this was, I think, probably in my top 5. This is the only album to feature Sonny Lombardozzi on guitar. Sonny was an incredible guitarist, just a total shredder. I think he fit really well in the band, but as we know, a lot of people just don't last in Incantation. So he was in the band a couple years, so he did okay. But I thought he brought a lot to the table with his guitar playing. Then we have a band called Insertus. I don't have a jewel case for it. Insertus are a black death metal band out of Poland. This is the only thing they've released so far. This came out last year, actually, in 2021 on My Throne Promotion. This is an EP. If I were to describe this band, I would say kind of like a dissonant, off-kilter, kind of weird and unique sounding black death metal. It's truly strange and unique. All I can say is just check it out because I can't really think of many bands to use as a comparison. I think it's a younger band. Not much is known about the lineup or when they formed, but I think they have a decent amount of potential, and I really hope that they live up to it. We're going to be talking about an American band formed in 1986 in Louisiana, a band called Incubus. This is their debut album from 1986. Serpent Temptation. I'm sorry, 1988. Serpent Temptation. This is a fantastic album, a death thrash classic. I've always compared them to, I would say, the early Morbid Angel stuff, demo era, and even Altars of Madness. If you like Altars of Madness, I don't see how you could not enjoy Serpent Temptation. Incubus had a second album that was really, really good, and I don't even have that. And originally came out, in, like I said, in 88 on Brutal Records. This is a 2021 repress. This is just a 10 out of 10 classic death thrash album. Everyone needs this in their collection if they're a fan of the genre. And then we're going to talk about a band from Havana, Cuba, formed, unknown when they formed, but probably within the last couple of years. We're talking about a kind of a retro thrash band called Infector, with Let the Infection Begin. This came out in 2019 on Defense Records. This is quite a good thrash album. I'd say if you like early Bay Area thrash, maybe like early Exodus, early Testament, I think you'd really dig Infector. They're a little bit late to the retro thrash boom, but I think they're honestly one of the better bands. If they'd have came out like around 2010 or so, I think they would have been a lot more popular. But still, they got a lot of potential, and I'm really, really curious to see what they do next. That's their debut album, and they haven't done anything else so far, so they need a follow-up soon. Then we're going to talk about an American band formed in 95 out of the state of Florida. We're talking about Inferion with The Desolate. This is their second album from 2012. Inferion play a black death metal that, I'll be honest, I don't remember much about this. I bought this back in 2012. I probably haven't heard it since then. I remember it being kind of black death metal type stuff, but I can't really elaborate much on it since it's just been a long time. You can't listen to everything all the time. Come on, guys. Then we're going to talk about a band called Infernal Dominion, formed in 1999 in Texas. Metal Archive says they're still active, but I don't know if I trust that. This album originally came out in 2000 on Corpse Gristle Records. This is the 2009 Burning Dogma repress. Extreme Southern Blasphemy. I would pick this album up because of Wes Weaver, the guitar player here, also a Blaspherian. Wes is a total, Texas death metal legend. I would definitely pick up anything he does. If you like Blaspherian, I think you would have no problem getting into Infernal Dominion. This is the only full-length album they have. I don't know how easy it is to get. They also had a demo, I think. Yeah, I don't know about tracking this down, but if you can find it, definitely grab it. It's just a good, nasty Texas death metal album that definitely deserves your time. And then we have a band out of Poland, formed in 1997. They are still active. This is their debut album from 2005. Came out on Agonia Records, talking about Infernal War with Terrorfront. This is just a great, blistering, basically a black metal album that you go to war listening to. It's so vicious. There almost might be a little bit of the death metal in there. It's like black metal played with death metal ferocity. I'd say it's more on the black metal side, though. Think like a band like Marduk. Infernal War could definitely hang with Marduk. Just violent, violent war black metal. I bought this, I think, back when it came out. I would hear years later that these guys do have like NSBM connections. So do with that as you will. I don't know if any of that is represented in Infernal War. I think they just have connections. Like they've been in other bands that are considered sketchy. So tread lightly with Infernal War. And I just fucking enjoy this album. So it's just a blistering black metal bloodbath. So I've heard a little bit of what they've done since then, and I don't like it as much. It's not quite as violent. It's maybe a little more sophisticated sounding, but still quality tunes. But anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thanks for stopping by as always. Louis says hello, and we will talk soon. Cheers.